Let's take a look at the Happy Happenings kit by Stampin' Up. It's a $33 kit, which means that it's going to have a stamp set in it. You can see there are some really cute greetings in here. Happily ever after, thank you, kindly delivered to, oh, that'd be for an envelope. For all you do, from all of us, sweet little one, congratulations, welcome baby. And then there's some cute floral things in there too. There is a Mossy Meadow ink pad. We have our standard adhesives, which include mini glue dots and mini dimensionals. And there's also some clear embellishments. These are exclusive to the kit. There is a clear block and some tear and tape, which is our extra sticky adhesive. Ooh, pretty. So we've got envelopes. What I love about the kits is they always seem to put some extra effort into making the envelopes really cute. What stood out to me about this kit is the card bases are not your standard rectangular card bases. We've got this oval look to it with die cuts, and there's 3 different colors for the bases. Darling Duckling, Petal Pink, and I think that's Cloud Cover. Here's some more die cuts. Got all sorts. Oh, I'm excited to dive into this kit. Okay, and then we have, let's see what the last thing is here. These little die cut layers. There's also always a label for you to be able to put your stamp set into an envelope or a case. Sometimes a clear envelope is all I use, just the medium clear envelopes, and depending on your language, of course. And then finally, there are instructions. Now, I call these IKEA style instructions because there's no words, it's all just pictures. And so this video is going to put the cards together exactly as they're featured in the kit so that you can easily follow these instructions step by step and make the 3 designs here, 9 cards to be able to have that on hand. Who wouldn't need a wedding card, a thank you card, or a baby card, right? Yeah. Okay, let's get started. We're gonna start with the baby card. There's a greeting that says welcome baby. And so what you'll need to pull from your kit is the card base, the scalloped die cut. You'll need the blue layer and one of the rectangle pieces here. And then you will need some white daisies. So we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 white daisies. All right, we can do that. Okay, so we're just gonna pop them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. You're also going to need a couple of leaves, so you can pull out 2 of those. And you will need your adhesives and your stamps. Okay, one thing I'm going to point out is there's 3 of each design. So if you're planning on making all 3 cards exactly the same, then what I would recommend doing is whatever step you're doing, you're going to assembly line it. So if you're going to stamp, you're going to stamp on 3 different pieces of paper. If you're going to glue, you're going to glue down 3 different pieces of paper. And what that does is it just makes it way more efficient to assemble. I'm only going to show you one because you don't need to see me do all 3 of them. But if you'd like to do all 3 at the time, that's how I'd recommend it. We're going to start by pulling out the welcome baby stamp. And we can set that on the one side, and on the other, I'm just gonna, again, teach you an efficiency here. We're gonna pull out this little splatter. It's just a bunch of tiny dots, and we're putting it on the other side, on the other corner. All right, so what we're gonna do is bring in this blue piece of paper, and we're going to stamp the splatter across the edge. Now, you're going to need to open it. So usually what I do is bring in a sharp pair of scissors, and I just, along the label, I like to cut the one side. Just be careful, don't cut yourself. And then you can open it up. And I like to leave the lid attached so I don't lose it. Now we're going to ink up the little splatter here, and we're going to do a few of those, just a couple. And with splatter, you want it to look a little more organic and random so you can kind of turn that in different directions. Makes it look more natural, like you did actually splatter ink onto the stamp. Okay, like that. And then on the white rectangle here, we're going to stamp Welcome Baby. So on that side up, we can ink it up with our little ink pad. And the trick with stamping cleanly is to just ink it down and then pull it straight back up. And that way you're not going to accidentally get ink that you may have over inked onto the block and transfer that onto the paper. We're also going to need this yellow banner, and so we'll pop one of those out. And this is where we're going to add another stamp from our set. This one says, Sweet Little One. So we'll clean off the stamps that we've used and we can put those back onto the sheet. And then we're going to add this one to our block. I find with these bigger blocks and you've got a smaller stamp, it's nicer to add it to the edge of the block instead of the middle. It's just a little bit easier for inking and stamping. So we'll stamp that right in the middle. And now we can start to assemble. So we have our adhesives here. And we've got 2 different kinds and our embellishments. So let me bring in our card base. So we've got this beautiful cloud cover colored card base, and we're going to bring in the scallop layer, and we can do that with our Stampin' Dimensionals. Now these are double-sided and sticky. So you can kind of add them top and bottom. Now I love to use my Take Your Pick tool for getting the backings off of these things. It just makes it a lot easier for these smaller adhesives, but you might not have that at home. So instead, if you have a toothpick, this is a nice life hack here for crafting. I'm just gonna grab a toothpick and then you can use that to remove the backing, okay? So this is gonna go on top like so. Then we're gonna bring in our Welcome Baby, and we can use our tear and tape. So this is the one that comes on the roll, and we're gonna add a little bit of that to the back. Now this is extra sticky, which is very helpful. So you're gonna put a piece here. You don't need scissors, you can just tear it. That's the name of it, helps us know, tear and tape. And then we can remove the backing and adhere this. This is gonna go right below the middle line there. And then we have this sweet little one. We can use our dimensionals and add that onto the front of the card. Okay, this is gonna go on like so, and just kind of use the edges to line it up. Now we have all of these really cute flowers, and so you can do some of them with mini glue dots, and you can do some of them with your dimensionals. You're just gonna stick it in the middle. It's sized really nicely for that. And pick it up, and we're gonna add those on as a way to just add that really fun spring look. And now we can add dimensionals on these ones. And again, just right in the center there, it's sized really well for that. So we can add a couple of those. And we'll do a couple down here. Now we have these 2 leaves left, and so with those we can use our mini glue dots to adhere them. So again, just pull them off the sheet and then remove the backing, and we're going to stick those. I'm going to put one over here, and we'll do one on the bottom as well. Just like that. Nice. Okay, we have some embellishments here, these little water drop looking embellishments. So you can add a couple of those as well. This one is sticky. Now the adhesive is already on there, so that's really helpful, so you don't have to try to add glue to it. And you'll notice I just used my take your pick to just pick it up, so it's a little easier to place. Now, if you were to add something onto this kit, I would highly recommend these Ladybug Garden epoxy shapes. These little tiny ladybugs are absolutely perfect for adding to this card. So we're just going to go ahead and add a ladybug to it, because why not? Isn't that cute? So there you've got your first card. So you have enough supplies to make 3 of this design, and feel free to embellish or change the design as you see fit, because hey, this is your project. Let's start with our second project. You're going to need the yellow card bases for this one, with the solid scallop olive oil and then the yellow oval to layer on top. I just realized I didn't actually layer this piece over top. So if you were following along exactly as I did it, this piece you left off, but that's okay. We can always add it to the inside and write the message on there. So there's a purpose for it, or you can use it on another project. Okay, continuing on with this one, you're going to need 3 of these little flowers, 2 orange ones. You're going to need 1 of these blushing bride. You need the long skinny piece. You need this one here that has the printed design, and you need 2 leaves. We also are going to be using the splatter stamp and the thank you stamp. And so I'm just going to put 1 on each side of my block. And we're going to need our ink and our adhesives. First step, we're going to ink up the thank you, and we're going to add that to the middle of this die cut piece, like so. And then we're going to need the yellow piece and add in that splatter. So we're going to do a couple in the background here. Nice. Next, we're going to do some layering, so we can add some tape to the back of our yellow. This time we're going to add it on the front. This is what happens when you're just looking at pictures and not following instructions. It happens to the best of us. Okay, so we're going to pull off the backings, and then we're going to add this to the scallop. Just center it. And then we're going to add dimensionals to the back of your scallop. So again, you can kind of do the corners and the sides. And then peel those backings off. I have some sticky dimensionals today, apparently. Okay. So now we can add this to the card front, and we can start building our scene. So we're going to start with this little flower here, and we'll add a couple of dimensionals to that. And this is going to go in the top right corner. Then we have our little leaves here, so we can use our glue dots. Those are going to go like that. Then we're going to bring in the thank you, and we can use our dimensionals for that one. This is going to go in the center. Then we'll bring in our orange flower here. And we can just keep adding our flowers on to the card front. I'm going to add one of these little white flowers into the center of this. And then we'll do a couple over here. One up here. And then we have the greeting. So we want to say thanks for all you do. So once again, you can clean off your stamps and then add them back to that clear sheet. And then pick this one up. I'm going to turn it around. There we go. That's a little easier to read. Okay, so now we've got the mossy meadow. We're going to stamp this here. And I'm going to stamp it a little closer to the edge because we're going to kind of tuck it in to here like that. So this one, we're going to, I actually want to cut a piece of this off. We're going to make it a little shorter. There we go. So now we can use our glue dots. We'll add a couple of those. And then we'll tuck this in here like so. Okay. So now we can add our embellishments here. So you can add a couple to the background. I like to do a variety of sizes, the big and the little ones. And once again, if you have those ladybugs, oh, they're so cute, you're going to want to pull those out again. So I'm going to peel one off, and this time we're going to stick it. Yeah, let's do it down here. Beautiful. Okay, so there you have project number 2. Now remember, you have enough to do 3 total of this design. So go ahead and work with that, or you can go ahead and change it into something else you'd like. For our final card, we're going to bring out the peach, the blushing bride background. We're going to bring out this one here, and there's some pieces that we're going to be pulling out of it. We need 1 orange flower and 2 yellows, another couple of leaves, and then we've got this cloud cover banner, as well as these 2 pieces here. So we're going to do some stamping again. This one is a wedding card, so you need the happily ever after. So we're going to stamp, put that one on here, and then we're going to do the congratulations. This has some really nice greetings in it. Okay, so we're going to stick that over here, and this one we're going to pick up. I like to pick it up from flat when you have these long skinny ones because it just makes it a little easier to keep it straight. Okay, so we'll start by stamping happily ever after, and that's going to be on the top portion of your oval here. Nice. And then we're going to stamp the congratulations onto this little banner. clean those off and add them back to our paper. This is where you can store your stamps. It just helps to keep them clean. They don't get dusty. It's best to keep them in a place that's not hit by direct sunlight, because the photopolymer can, over time, lots of time, it's not going to happen overnight or anything, but it can harden if it's in the lights. You want to put them away in a drawer or something. Okay, so now we're going to start layering. So flip it over, and we're going to use our tear and tape again. It's so nice to have this option in the kit. It's a really great adhesive, and you're not going to use it all, so you have it for future projects. It's the one that I use for things that have flaps or moving parts, so that you can get the best adhesive possible. So this is going to layer onto this little oval here. You can just see that stitching peeking through. And then we are going to pop out all of these little bits here. Okay, move that aside. And then this is going to be layering on top, and you can use that with the tear and tape again. Now I find with this tape, if you give it a nice press, it sort of activates the glue, and then it's much easier to pull that backing off. Okay, so this is going to now stick in the center of this. And we're going to add the congratulations with our dimensionals. And this is going to go here. So now we can bring in our flowers, and we have this gorgeous yellow, or orange flower, I should say. I'm looking at yellow flowers too. And we're going to add that to the card front. This is going to go on here like that. And then we have these yellow pieces. And with our dimensionals in the center, we can add those like that. Now we've got these two little leaves, so we're going to add our mini glue dots on there. Get those backings off. And then this is going to tuck in like that. And like that. Okay. So now we can add this to the front of our card, and we're going to do that with dimensionals. Love dimensionals. It's so fun to add that extra layer. Okay, this is going to go on like so, and then we can embellish it, and this is where we're going to bring in these little clear ones. We're going to do one here and one here, and do one here. Now, once again, if you have those cute little ladybugs, this is a great time to pull those out and add a ladybug or two to your project. So I just think it adds so much. to add those on there. They're so cute. Okay, let's take a look one more time at your 3 designs. You've got a wedding card, you've got a thank you card, and you've got a baby card. So I hope you've enjoyed making these projects with me. Remember, we have new kits that come out monthly, and you can find them on my online store. Visit my website at www.cloud9stampers.com, and be sure to like and subscribe so you get all of my videos. I have tons of free tips and techniques and things that you can use in your own crafting world. You don't have to be an expert to craft. Have an amazing week. Bye for now.